Yes. Good evening to everyone, and thank you all so very much for attending with us tonight for the Town of Fairmount Heights January meeting, for the first meeting of January of the year 2020. Welcome 2020, and thank you all for joining us very much this evening. We're going to start by calling this meeting to order. And at this time, I would like for us to observe a moment of silence in memory of all that has happened throughout our country, throughout our town, with our families, and everything that surrounds us and affects us all. Would you please join me? Thank you all very much. At this time, I would like to invite everyone to stand as we salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. At this time, Madam Secretary, would you please do a roll call?
Councilmember Hargrove.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Hudson-Dubois.
Present.
Mayor Martin.
Present.
Councilmember Dodson.
Here.
Councilmember Morgan.
Here.
Councilmember Morris.
Here.
Thank you very much. We have all members present. At this time, we have some minutes that need approving, and I'm noting here that we have November 20th town meeting minutes. We have December the 10th work session minutes, and December 18th town meeting minutes. So that the correction on that would be December the 18th, 2019.
Madam Mayor, didn't we already approve November's at the last meeting?
We'll have to check the records because I'm not really sure which ones we did. Madam Secretary, do we have any record of approving the November meeting minutes?
November. I mean, we can approve them again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we do,
If we do,
we need to just make sure that the minutes are approved. All these that were listed, these were the ones that you listed, Ms. Tucker? Okay. So at this time, I'll accept a motion for approval of the minutes that were listed, the November 20th minutes, the December 10th, and December 18th. I would like to receive a motion.
Make a motion that Make a motion that we approve the minutes for November the 20th, December the 10th, and December the 18th,
second.
work session and town meetings.
Okay, it's been properly
Second.
moved and seconded that we approve the minutes for those aforementioned meetings, the work session and the town meetings for 3 particular dates. Okay. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Hargrove.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Hudson-Dubois.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson. Councilmember Morgan.
Aye.
And Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Those 3 sets of minutes have been approved. We're going to head on down to our police department report, and I think we're having a representative from our police department that's going to present the report, or is the liaison going to do it?
I believe that I will be doing it. It's coming. Okay.
was a table request.
Okay. Do you have a copy?
I thought we weren't gonna do those.
Yeah, but we gotta tell the people, you know, so the liaison said they were gonna do it.
Okay,
Did you have yours?
I have the packet, but okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be presenting the police chief's report for January 9th, 2020. The police department's report reads as follows. Incidents. December the 3rd, 10 p.m., burglary, 5714 Joss Street. Officers responded to location for a burglary as suspect kicked in open front door of a home. December the 11th, 12:30 p.m., stolen handgun at 6106 J Street. Officer responded. Victim reports the theft of a .38 caliber handgun from his bedroom closet. She believes that some furniture delivery person was responsible. December the 10th, 5 p.m., theft, 5714 Joe Street. Officers respond. Location for theft. Victim reports someone broke down the backyard stockade fence and stole Carrier Central air conditioner. December 17th, 7:25 a.m., stolen auto from 718 59th Avenue. Victim reports her white 2013 Mercedes-Benz C250 with Maryland tags. 12:01 a.m., vehicle fire, 5700 L Street. Officers responded for vehicle fire. Toyota Highlander with Maryland tags was apparently set on fire. 12:31, 11 p.m., burglary, 602 59th Avenue. Officers respond. Victim states had their front door kicked open and the vacant house was entered by kicking open the redo, which destroyed the door and frame. Other police activities, there was 1 arrest, criminal citation 2, civil citation 0, repair orders 0, warning violations 0, parking citations issued 6, police reports 9. That would be the end of the police department's report.
Okay, council member, I guess at this time, would you like to entertain any police department issues and, you know, from the community?
If there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. And if I don't have the answer for you, I'll be more than happy to make sure that I obtain it and have a one-on-one, if necessary, to give you the answer.
At this time, I will accept the motion for approval of the police department report for the month of December.
Make the motion that we accept the police department's report for the month of December.
I get a second on that?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that the police department report for the town of Fairmount Heights be approved. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Boswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Wade.
Aye.
Councilmember Walker.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morgan.
Aye.
And Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Is there any opposition? If not, we'll move forward. We have our code enforcement report here, and Mr. Pinckney Mr. Pinckney. Yes. I have your report here, and would you like to come forward?
No,
You want to just,
yeah, I'm just a citizen.
huh?
I'm here as a citizen, and that's what the liaison is going to be.
Okay. All right, well, liaison, there you are. There you are, liaison. All right, do you have your copies?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. So we'll receive the code enforcement report from our liaison to the police department.
And good evening again. I have a summary of our code enforcers' report. During this period, we have issued the following building permits. Jennifer Miller, 6404 Foot Street, $125. During this period, we have issued 3 notices of violation and corrective action notices. Angel Capital LLC, stop work, 710 67th Avenue. Willie Williams, tall grass, 6109 Cove Street. Donald Robinson, 5460 Addison Road, dumping. District Court of Maryland, Kirsten Lefowitz, continuation. Sarah Jackson, continuation. Construction has started on 61st Avenue Clean Water Partnership. There are several residents placing bulk items out to be removed, but we do not have a truck to remove it at this time. But if I'm not mistaken, the truck is back and running?
As of Tuesday.
As of Tuesday, okay, we're back up as of Tuesday. The project by Douglas Jamal near Addison Chapel has started. They are doing the site work. WSSC has made the necessary repairs on the roadway at Addison Road and 60th Avenue. Prince George's County Department of Environment has a new mandatory recycling requirement for tenants or operators of commercial and industrial properties, including stores, offices, hotels, motel, gas station, restaurant, factories, processing plant, and manufacturing enterprises. That's the end of the code enforcement's report. Any other further questions or concerns? Again. Yes, ma'am.
You may know the answer, may not. I'm not sure if it's the code-free, the code person's, thing. I have a question about the gas station that the dump truck ran into. I know it was in our town, but what's being done about that?
I'm gonna have to refer you to the code enforcer, or I will get that answer from him and we will get it to you. I don't have an answer for you.
Okay. I'll just answer on that, Ms. White. Basically, because of the fact that that's an unincorporated Prince George's County, the county will handle that. I don't know whether they've sent, their people to the scene, but it's very dangerous and, with the gas, the way it fell. So I'm quite sure they've inspected it and probably plan on moving forward, but we don't have responsibility for them.
Okay, because I understand, I remember when it hit.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was, my whole house shook. It was just a loud bang, or something was what? I was just a little afraid that it was still sitting there. And last night, I heard something boom again. So that's why I was just questioning it, because it's still sitting.
Yeah. So, and I noticed they left it exactly where it was, so they're probably gonna make sure when they move it, there's no danger involved. Because I saw another SUV sitting there also.
Yeah, two of them.
Yeah. So we expect them to go in and do something about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Was there someone else that had something else for a code enforcement issue? Okay. All right, then, thank you very much. We're going to move forward, and at this time, I will accept the motion for approval of the code enforcement report for the month of December.
I make a motion that we accept the code enforcement report for the month of December.
Can I get a second on that?
A second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the code enforcement report for the town of Fairmont Heights for the month of December. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Oswald.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Kimberly Walker.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson. Councilmember Morgan.
Aye.
And Councilmember Morris.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. The code enforcement report has been approved. We're going to move down to the town manager's report. And Mr. Rumi, would you just sort of give us a summary of, I know you presented a large report to the mayor and the council, but would you like to at this time give us a
summary.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay. And I'm gonna stand right here because much to follow. Good evening, everyone. My name is Doris Wilkie. I had these two months yesterday. I'm the town manager. This month, my report is going to be a bit different. It's a summary because what I presented to the mayor and council is a collection of action items that require resolution. So instead of spending a lot of time looking at the resolutions, they will be presented, I'm sure, shortly in the meeting. But the resolution that I submitted, one is the resolution authorizing the purchase of a truck, the resolution requesting Prince George's County Division of Land Acquisition to convey 5908 Street to the town. There are a number of vacant properties throughout the town. So I've been working with the county division to make certain that those properties get transferred. A resolution adopting an art design to bring new art to the town. This is an action item required because the art design project is being presented by the state of Rhode House, member of the House of Delegates. A resolution authorizing the town to adopt a logo. I think Councilmember Harwood passed out decided copies of the logo. And then finally, a town ordinance to amend the existing code. Again, you will hear all of this in detail because, as required, the clerk will read these resolutions into the record.
All right. Thank you very much. We have our circuit rider here. Ms. Goodall, would you like to make a few comments at this time?
I believe that the mayor and council have my report for the work that I did for the month of December in assisting with lighting grants.
All right. Thank you all very much. At this time, I will accept the motion for approval of the town manager's report.
Make a motion that we accept the town manager's report as read.
I get a second on that? It's been properly moved and seconded that the town manager's report for the month of December be approved. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Oswald.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Kimberly Walker.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morgan.
Aye.
And Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Any opposition? The town manager's report has been approved. We're going to move on down to the treasurer's report, and we have a report that's been presented to the council, but if the treasurer would like to come forward now.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and citizens. My name is Susan Walker. I serve as a town treasurer. Let me first kind of clarify a couple things because I know it seems a little different tonight. As staff members, we I started it. I went to the mayor and council and asked if we could make a few changes. And one of the changes I asked was if we could meet with the mayor and council prior to work session to present our written reports to the mayor and council and have an opportunity to meet with the mayor and council to give any action items that we have and give them opportunity to be able to then, in their work session, discuss those items, make decisions on those items, and then bring those items back before the citizens in the town meeting. So the format's a little different. So tonight, we're kind of trying to feel our way through this. It is our hope in the future that the summary reports, not actually the written, the long reports, will be shared with citizens directly from the mayor and council. And during the meeting, we also asked for assistance from a consultant that was there to confirm whether or not we needed to do motions on our reports if our reports have no action. So that's something that will be a little different as well, because we were told we don't have to do motions if there's no action in our report. So I know tonight seems like we're kind of feeling our way through it, but moving forward, it's our hope that the summary reports will just be summarized and read into record, and then we'll just continue on with the mayor and council's reports. But the report that I presented to the mayor and council at the staff meeting was through December, and I reported on our current assets as of the end of December, which are $711,883. And I also highlighted a couple areas that we needed to focus on. One, our building hall rentals. I asked mayor and council to review the current contract, and in particular to take a look at our security and also our fees for opening and closing. I also presented a bulk trash request form so that we will have a form. We'll put that form online. It'll be on our website. We'll also have it here in the building for all citizens to fill out when they have a request for bulk trash. That way we know for sure what items are being picked up, and we can make sure that every citizen is being treated fairly and paying the same amount for items to be picked up. And then the other account I asked us to take a look at were business licenses. The code enforcement officer, myself, and the chief, as well as Lieutenant Ivy, we've been looking at accounts that are delinquent to make sure that all business owners are in compliance with having to have a business license. Councilmember Akindu Waka will be assisting with that as she has expertise in that area. And then the last thing I did was I presented quotes to the mayor and council for changing the locks on the exterior and interior, as well as providing security cameras. And both quotes were approved. The locks have we've already begun to change the locks. The security cameras will be installed first on the police department side, and then then throughout the rest of the building. There were two other contracts, one from QED Incorporated, and then one from a snow removal vendor. Those two contracts were sent over to the attorney for review. We have his input on the QED contract. We don't have his input yet. We didn't have his input at that meeting on the snow removal contract. And that was my report that we talked about for the month of December. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Are there any questions for the treasurer?
How's everyone doing this evening?
Okay.
All right. My question for the treasurer is, I don't want to revert back, but I had to. The police department and the budget for that. Because my understanding is that you can't get officers to come into our town because of budget-wise and because of, I guess, salary. You know, so I want to know what is the budget for the police department.
I don't have a copy with me tonight. I can maybe give you the exact amount for the police department. Chief Watkins, as well as all supervisors, are given an opportunity when we begin to plan the budget to say what their needs are for the year. And then based upon what their needs are, that's what we put in the budget. So Chief Watkins was given an opportunity, which he did, let us know what he needed for the year. He wants to increase his staff for this fiscal year, and we're trying as best we can to do that, but we can only do but so much.
with what we have set in the budget for this fiscal year. Whether we can grow next year, we're not sure, but he'll be given the same opportunity next year. For the police department, what you have to consider is for every officer, we need equipment, we need firearms, and we need vehicles, unless they're going to do partners. So if we have 6 officers, we possibly need at least 4 vehicles. If they're going to be here at the same time, then we can have them to share vehicles. So there's a lot that goes into that. I know Chief Watkins has indicated that his challenge is budget. I do agree, but not 100% that it's only budget. So there are other factors that go into staffing the police department. But I can meet with you one-on-one to share with you his exact budget. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Walker. We're going to move at this time. I will accept the motion for approval of the treasurer's report.
I make a motion that we approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the treasurer's report for the month of December for the year 2019. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Oswald.
Aye.
Councilmember Waiters.
Aye.
Councilmember Upton.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morgan.
Aye.
And Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. The treasurer's report has been approved. At this time, we're going to move down to new business, and because of the fact that we have some invited guests here this evening, I want to thank you all for coming, and I want to move right into the area where we'll present a certificate to someone who has helped us out here in the town a very great deal. At this time, I would like to ask Ms. Beverly Nickens to come forward. First of all, I would like to, for people who don't know who Miss Beverly Nickens is, she is one of my church members and a close friend, and we've worked together as far as creating music for our church. And I want to say thanks to our other 3 church members that are here. Thanks for coming out to support her. And we're members of Michigan Park Christian Church in Washington, D.C. So at this time, I would like to have Mrs. Carpenter, I want her to give a couple of comments before I present her this certificate, because the work that she did was really great, working with our green team, and when we had our garden up at 60th Place, and all the work that it takes to pull a lot of young people together and try to train them and help them raise them on up so they'll get a good understanding of what it takes to be a master gardener. Well, she has accomplished that goal, and at this time, I would like for Beverly just to give us a little overview of what it was all about when she worked here at the town.
Okay, hello everyone, and I'm very happy to be here, and I was very glad that the dear mayor asked me to get involved with your community, because it's so important for children and adults who are not familiar with having their own garden to really get into it, especially nowadays. During the time when we worked with the kids. We had the soil come in with the green team, was so working with us so hard, and they supplied all the soil, the compost, and then they had the raised garden beds up. And we had some children that came, and we planted tomatoes, and we planted red peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers. I think we planted carrots. We planted cabbage, and do you remember what else we? Kale. Kale, thank you. Okay. And it was such a great experience, and I'm hoping very much so that more parents and more kids will get out and get that experience of getting their hands in the dirt. I did make a pamphlet around two or three pages on how you yourself can have your own backyard garden, but I didn't bring them, but I will have them when we start working with the kids this year. So hopefully, if you're not interested, and if you know someone who is interested, please have them come and try to talk to the young kids to get their hands in the dirt, because they would really enjoy the experience, especially when the plants start to grow. And when they see the final production, the very delicious tomatoes and all the other great vegetables that are good for them. And just think that they're all free for them to have and take home for your family. And if your family builds a garden, and you've got a lot of good vegetables that you know are no pesticides or whatever. So you know they're gonna be great. So on behalf of the Master Gardens from Prince George's County, which is under the University of Maryland Extension, I hope that everyone will join us this summer when we work with the children and the green team to get the garden really productive for everyone.
Thank you. All right, would you all give her some applause? Yes, thank you so much, Beverly. I would like to read the certificate. It simply states, a certificate to Mrs. Beverly Carpenter Nickens for outstanding service to the town of Fairmont Heights in her dedicated help and time donated to our green team, our Morehouse project and grant, and above all, your designation as a master gardener. We congratulate you.
Thank you.
And that's signed by Lily Thompson Martin, town of Fairmont Heights. Thank you so much for all you've done.
Thank you so much.
Would you all give her some more applause? Thank you. All right. Okay. Sure. Appreciate you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
All right.
Mayor Martin, and for Mrs. Carter.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Green team meeting is Thursday.
Next Thursday.
However, I have another message. Through your hard work and the work, Mayor Martin, I'm happy to announce that a student at Fairmont Heights, a young lady, got involved with the green team and with our agriculture project, and she's among the few women who received a full scholarship to go to Virginia State University. And she's majoring in agriculture. Yeah, that is wonderful. Yes, thank you all so much. And just to piggyback on that, that's what our collaboration on February 1st will be about. We're scheduled to go to the University of Maryland because they made a presentation last Wednesday at Fairmont Heights High School about how young people, they're going to have vacancies for 60,000 jobs in agriculture, and they broke them down into categories. Some are going to be sports management, working with turf, turf management, and all different kinds of agricultural areas. So that's going to be a good trip, and it's going to be a 3-hour tour. And you can meet at Fairmont Heights High School, but I just need to know the people who are interested in participating, because he's going to have a bus that's going to take people over. February 1st. Yeah. And you have to meet at the school, either meet us at the University of Maryland.
University of Maryland where?
Department of Agriculture, but I'll give you the direct location because University of Maryland's so large.
It is.
Yeah. So we'll narrow it down if you're interested in going.
Is that the one in
College Park.
Is it College Park?
I have to give you the direct building where the Department of the Agriculture, where it's going to be, where the tour will start.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to catch up with us if you don't ride the bus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks again. You all give her some more applause. Appreciate you. All right, we're going to go on down to our resolutions. We have several resolutions to be read tonight. I think our town clerk will do the majority, or our treasurer might assist. So we want to get all these out and get them approved tonight.
Madam Mayor, before we get started, and Ms. Walker, in council, on FHR 03-20, there's been a change to this resolution because it shouldn't have the word state body. It should just have multi-purpose truck. And the reason that it shouldn't have state body is because we didn't want to be tied down to a certain type of truck. So I'm requesting that that be taken out and only the word multi-purpose truck be used.
Okay, so we probably could just approve it and put with corrections. Make sure with corrections are included. so we can make sure these are out of the way.
Did you get that, Ms. Walker? I'll repeat it again for you.
I did get it. When we get to that one,
Okay.
I'll make sure that I make that correction.
Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Ms.
Ms. Tucker, I'll read that one.
Okay.
Okay, so you can make the correction in your notes. Before we get started, I did, tell me your name again, sir.
Ted Barnhart.
Mr. Barnhart. Okay, you asked a question. I wanted to answer your question because I did pull out my report. So the police department's budget for fiscal year 20 is $192,733.50. 63% of that is used for salaries, which is $121,125. They're also asked to bring income in, and for this year, they estimate that they'll bring in $25,500. Normally, they bring in much more than what they estimate they'll bring in, and then we also get police aid, and our police aid is $9,894. So we don't get much, but everything we get, we're very appreciative for it. But that's the information for the question that you asked. But certainly, at any time, if you want to come in and have any additional conversations, I'm always available. Okay, but I want to answer your question before I left tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, I'm sorry. I will now. I'm ready for FH0. Ms. Tucker, I kept the form. Sorry. We ready?
Yes.
Okay.
The numbers,
I'll read it.
would you like to just go on and call the numbers off because we have,
I'll read it out. FHO01-20. So it's ordinance number FHO01-20. And it reads as follows. Town of Fairmont Heights, 2019-2020 legislative session, town ordinance. Ordinance number FHO01-20, introduced by Councilmember Patricia Uckendu Uwaka, co-sponsor blank. Title, Chapter 11, Article 1, registration of vacant lots. Whereas this ordinance shall be known as registration of vacant lots for the town of Fairmont Heights, Maryland, and whereas all buildable lots located within the town are vacant and without a habitable or commercial structure, and whereas nearly 80% of the vacant lots are not maintained in accordance with current codes of ordinances and have attracted dumping, loitering, vagrancy, and other illegal activities. Whereas many vacant lots have been taken over by overgrown invasive trees and other plant life, and that create a habitat for vermin and other wildlife. Chapter 11, Article 1, registration of vacant lots. This section is to be titled Chapter 11, Article 1 of the Fairmont Heights Code as adopted by the town of Fairmont Heights effective blank, and is to be added as Chapter 11, Article 1 of the Code of Ordinances of the town of Fairmont Heights. 11-100 definitions. Definitions as used in this section. The following terms shall have the meanings as indicated. Lot, an area of land designated as a separate parcel or unit of land on a legally recorded subdivision plat or deed filed among the land records of Prince George's County and assigned a property tax account identification number. Owner, the person, persons, or entity shown to be the owner or owners on record with Prince George's County Department of Taxation, those identified as the owner or owners on a vacant lot registration form, a mortgage in possession, a mortgagor in possession, assignee of rents, receiver, executor, trustee, leasee, other person, firm, or corporation in control of the premises. Any such person will have joint and several obligations for compliance with the provisions of this ordinance. Vacant lot, a platted or unplatted parcel or land without a habitable or commercial structure which has an assessed value for taxation purposes as determined by the State of Maryland Department of Assessments and Taxation. 11-101, vacant lot registration. 1. Owner or purchaser of each vacant lot must register with the Town of Fairmont Heights Office of Code Enforcement no later than 30 days after acquiring a vacant lot. Notices may be served to or sent via first-class mail to the owner and will be deemed received by the owner upon personal delivery or after 5 days via delivery by first-class mail. 2. The registration must be submitted on forms from the Office of Code Enforcement for the Town of Fairmont Heights. The following information must be included. A description of the vacant lot by street address, property tax identification number, and any other information in order to accurately identify the vacant lot. B, the name, address, which shall not be a post office box, and telephone numbers of the property owners of record. If the owner is a corporation, limited liability partnership, limited partnership, or other such entity, the name, address, and telephone number of the resident agent. If the owner is an entity not having a resident agent, the name, address, and telephone number of all partners, owners, or officers of the owner or the owner's authorized agent. The address, which shall not be a C. The address, which shall not be a post office box, and a telephone number of the owner's authorized agent if an agent has been designated by the owner. D, the name and owner's authorized property management agent if an agent has been designated by the owner. 3, the Office of Code Enforcement shall be notified within 14 days of a change of any information contained within the form. 11-102, vacant lot registration and registration fees. 1, the register fee per vacant lot shall be $250 annually, commencing July 1, the beginning of each fiscal year, and prorated by month if a property changes ownership thereafter. Fees may be paid biannually. A late fee shall be assessed each 30 days thereafter for delinquent registrations. The delinquent fee shall be 1/2 of the annual registration fee. Registration fees may be revised by the mayor and council from time to time. 2, vacant lots not registered with the town as required by this section after the owner, having been duly notified by the town, shall be in violation and subject to the penalties as prescribed in section 11-105. 11-103, other enforcement. The registration of a vacant lot or absence thereof shall not preclude any action by the town to force abatement, maintenance, or removal of a public nuisance or other violation found on any vacant lot pursuant to any other provisions to this ordinance, code, or other law. The town shall have the right to remove litter, noxious weeds, tall grass, unsanitary or flammable waste materials, and to do such maintenance as is necessary to bring the property into compliance with this ordinance. The cost of these actions shall be paid by the owner. The town shall send the owner a bill for the costs of such work by certified mail, return receipt requested, and by regular mail to the owner's last known address, or by any other means reasonably calculated to bring the bill to the owner's attention. Should the owner fail to pay the bill within 30 days after it is presented or mailed, the cost shall be considered a lien against the property and may be collected in the same manner. 11-105, violation and penalties. Violations of this ordinance shall be deemed a municipal violation. The fine for the first offense shall be $500. The fine for the second offense occurring 30 days after the date of the first offense shall be $1,000. The fine for a third offense shall be $2,000. Registration and late fees shall accrue. The town of Fairmont Heights reserves the right to place a lien against the deed to the property to recover any and all expenses, fees, and fines incurred. Be it ordained by the mayor and council of the town of Fairmont Heights that this ordinance shall be adopted by the town and council in accordance with the charter of the town of Fairmont Heights and applicable Maryland state laws. Therefore, the first reading was,
correction.
okay,
Yeah.
it says was be. Gotta read it as it is. Was be will be taken off, on Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. The second reading shall be on Wednesday, January 14th, 2020, and the third and final reading shall be on Wednesday, February 19th, 2020. Be it further ordained by the mayor and council of the town of Fairmont Heights that the town clerk shall certify to the adoption of this ordinance and cause the same to the extent permitted by Section 1-12 of the Charter of the Town of Fairmont Heights. A fair summary of the same be published as required by law, and this ordinance shall become effective at the expiration of 20 days following approval by the mayor and the town council. The mayor and town council: Lily Thompson Martin, mayor; Jacqueline Wood Dodson, council member and vice mayor; Stella Hargrove, council member; Jacqueline Morgan, council member; Glenn Morris, council member; Patricia Ukandu-Uwaka, council member; Patricia Waiters, council member. I will note 3 corrections. Town needs to be corrected on page 3. The date, Wednesday, January, is the date the 15th?
Yes.
That needs to be
Yes.
corrected to the 15th. There needs to be a comma after the 17th, where it says July 17th, there needs to be a comma. The word be needs to be taken out after the word was. And there needs to be a period on page 2 after the word biannually.
There should also be another correction where we have, when we're talking about the fines, when it says the fine for the third offense shall be $2,000, and it should say and so on, because if they're going to continue to be penalized if they don't make that payment, so it should say and so on.
All right, I wrote that on Ms. Tucker's on Ms. Tucker's copy here.
Yeah. Okay. After the 2,000, so that's, I guess you're gonna have to give a little bit more clarity on that. Thank you all for coming. Yes, all right, okay. All right. Okay, bye-bye. All right, that was the, thank you, Mrs. Walker. That was the second reading for this ordinance. And we have the third and final reading scheduled for our February meeting. So this goes into the record as the second reading of this ordinance, FHO01-20. So that's been labeled as the second reading. Okay,
One minute, Madam Mayor. Actually, if we go back and we look at the, as opposed to so on, we really don't need that, because it states registration and late fees shall occur.
Okay.
So we don't need to go
Right.
to that.
Okay.
That's my correction, I didn't see
Okay,
it.
okay.
That can be
Sorry.
noted
Yes.
for the secretary, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on down to our next resolution is FHR.
Wait a minute, somebody got it.
You see it?
Uh-huh.
Daisy,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
go forward.
Uh-huh.
Please clarify for us, when you say that the fines that will be, the fines that will accrue, will the property, as Councilmember Hargrove said, is the word sold going to be added to it to make sure that the person doesn't just keep accruing fines and you may never get paid? Is
Okay.
there some action to put a stop to it somewhere?
Yes, there's the town has the right to put a lien on the property.
Yes.
So anything, when it's sold, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's a lien on it, that lien has to be paid first.
Right.
Although there's levels that we may fall third in line, it may be state, whatever, we might fall third in line, but we will get it paid because it's going to be a lien.
So there's no maximum on the fines? I mean, you're saying
That's
it's keep
right.
it here, I mean, so long as it's $100,000, I mean, you still have, you know what I mean? So
That's what I'm
where is it capped, I guess?
Right.
At some point, and would have to be a legal question, whether or not we could force them to sell it, that would be something that, you know, we'd have to talk to the lawyer about. Can we force them?
A
Yeah.
lien would also be a legal question, because a lien is a legal,
Right, but I'm just, the question was, how do we get our money?
right,
And so I'm saying we would get our money through the lien.
That I'm gonna share.
The lien has to be paid before you get your money.
Right.
So I'm trying to say,
sold
we don't want someone to, it's like a process. The internal revenue says to you, if you don't pay this debt right here, we're gonna take your property. They don't say, oh, we gotta go to a lawyer. A process is already put in place to make that happen, is all I'm trying to say. Is, and because this town is going its own laws, I'm thinking
That's, I agree, that's something that maybe we do need to go back and look at and put a limit on what the cost is, add a limit to it.
Okay.
Where we could, but I think, Mr. Rumi, don't we have something in place where we could get property? Do I remember? I can't remember the name of it.
Acquisition,
Acquisition?
eminent domain.
So I don't think that addresses this issue. But I want to go back to process. Remember, as you read the ordinance, there's a first, second, and third reading.
Yeah.
The reason that you have these readings is to receive comments. So now we have a period of time tomorrow for me to refer this legal question to our attorney for his interpretation. I should have it back to you within a few days from the attorney. Then we include that in for the third reading. So I heard, I'm making notes, so I heard your comments in terms of the legal question of this. So you have time, and that's why I think I even said in my report, mark it up, give me comment right away, so we can keep the process moving. So you have until February next meeting, but let's not wait for that.
Okay. All right then. If there is no other issue with this particular FHO0120, then we will make the necessary corrections on that and have it ready for the third reading, which is our next town meeting in February.
Right.
Should be.
Or as Mrs. Walker said, let's not wait for that. Remember, we will meet with you again the week prior to your work session.
Okay.
So I would like to have it to you by that.
By that time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to continue on down to FHR 02-20.
01.
01-20.
2019-2020 legislative session, resolution number FHR01-20, introduction by Mayor Lily Thompson Martin, co-sponsor, blank. Date of introduction, January 14th, 2020. A resolution requesting the Prince George's County Division of Land Acquisition and Real Property to convey 5908 K Street, tax ID number 18-2049989 to the town of Fairmont Heights for public use. Whereas April 20th, 2019, Mayor Lily Thompson Martin, on behalf of the mayor and town council of Fairmont Heights, sent a letter of request to the Prince George's County Office Central Services Division of the Land Acquisition and Real Property, requesting that 5908 is conveyed to the town of Fairmont Heights for public use. And whereas the town's intent is to use the property to provide additional parking for the residents and their guests residing between 59th Avenue and Addison Road, and whereas the Samuel H. Hargrove House, located at 5907 K Street, is a historic site listed on the Prince George's County Historic Register and is within the National Register of Historic Places, and whereas the owner of the Samuel Hargrove House has applied for grant funding from the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, M-NCPPC, to renovate and preserve the Samuel Hargrove House, and whereas the owner of the Samuel Hargrove House is working with the town and MNCPPC to host open house to the public several times throughout the year, and whereas 5980, it should, we'll make the correction.
Yeah.
K Street, tax ID 18-204-9989, became listed as Prince George's County surplus property as of December 20, 2019. And whereas January 2nd, 2020, the mayor sent a letter to the Division of Land Acquisition and Real Property to take the necessary steps to convey the property to the town as no cost. We'll make that correction. Now therefore, be it resolved that the town submits county documents Appendix A, bid sheet, and statement of minimum business term, Appendix E, W9, request for taxpayer identification number and certification, Appendix G, affidavit of financial disclosure, and Appendix M, electronic signature agreement. Be it further resolved that the town will be responsible for legal sufficiency and review of settlement documents and final conveyance. This resolution is adopted by the council of the town of Fairmont Heights on this blank day of blank 2020. Council of the town of Fairmont Heights, Lily Thompson Martin, Mayor; Jacqueline Wood Dotson, Council Member, Vice Mayor; Patricia Uckendu Uwaka, Council Member; Jacqueline Morgan, Council Member; Stella Hargrove, Council Member; Patricia Waiters, Council Member; Glenn Morris, Council Member. I'll note a correction. 5980 should be 5908 K Street, and convey the property to the town at no cost. It says as no cost.
But Prince George is spelled wrong as well in the first paragraph.
Yes, it is. Prince George's, thank you. I didn't even see that one. Okay. So those corrections, Mr. Tucker, I have them circled on here for you. Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. At this time, I will accept a motion for approval of resolution FHR 01-20.
I'd like to make a motion to accept Resolution number FHR01-20 with pending corrections as read.
Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded that resolution FHR 01-20 be approved with corrections. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
I have a question. I have
Okay.
a question about the Hargrove House being open to the public a few times a year. I went to the, I was a big part of hoping that to be a historical house. I had no idea that they were gonna open it to the public. It's directly next door to my house, so I'm gonna have to get legal representation about that, because I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Directly next door to my house.
Okay. All right.
I would like to
I'm
make,
gonna fight it tooth and nail.
well, I just like to make a comment. Whenever, with historic property, they apply for grant funding, and whenever there's an easement, that is the requirement that in terms of them receiving the funding, you certainly have every right to.
Yeah, but I
to
don't
fight,
want to do
to fight
that.
that, but I'm just telling you legally why they have to say that. And it said they may be required. I live in a historic house, and a public participation could be my house being on the tour. But maybe we need to clarify that.
Yeah, we definitely need to
Yeah.
clarify that.
Again, that's a legal matter that needs to be looked
Oh,
at.
yeah.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, taking that under consideration because of the verbiage in that
Exactly.
as to how it will be used, because, you know, we already know it's historic and everything, but the main purpose of getting that 5908 was to use it for additional parking. Because of the fact that the street, you know, we've had major issues on K, on that 100 block, and it was to create some additional parking, and because of the fact that that was Maryland National Capital Park and Planning property, you know, the idea had come to me a while ago to try to apply so we could own that.
That's great.
It could be deeded to the town.
That part is great.
Yeah.
I just have we have police representation on our block. Now drug dealings have started again, and for that house to be open to the public, directly next door to my house, is dangerous for us.
Okay. So, yeah, we need to get some clarity on how they really are planning on using it. I don't know how far they've come along.
He didn't mention it a couple of weeks ago when he was at the property, and he didn't mention that.
Okay.
So he's back
Okay.
in the country now?
Oh, but he came back, his family lives here, so he
Okay.
was back here just for that period of time around the holidays, so, but, I need to speak to him about it, I have his information, so.
And see, that'd be a good thing too, is to also talk with him because he's the owner of that property.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I know that, you know, it's major concern, and if we are conveyed that property, at least we have a fighting chance
Exactly.
of, you know, freeing up some spots.
Yeah.
Because it's very tight.
And I'm quite
Yeah.
sure my neighbors wouldn't approve of that being open to the public, you know, a few times a year, so.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, we have a problem with that, we live here.
yeah. Okay. All right. That's understandable. So at this time, if there are no other questions on the motion, there are no other questions or comments? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Hargrove,
Yes, with corrections.
Councilmember Waiters,
Aye.
Councilmember Upton Walker,
Yes, with the understanding that we will look into it in reference to our attorney as to whether or not it will be an open physical entity or if it would be just a entity on the historical trail.
Thank you.
That's good.
Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Dodson,
Councilmember Morgan.
Aye with all those corrections and answers.
Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Any opposition? We're duly noted all the other issues that were mentioned, and they will be researched. That's the case, the ayes have it. And thank you all. What we're going to do is to pass it down for signatures. I'll start down this end. Good evening. All right, our next resolution is FHR 02-20.
Legislative session, resolution number FHR 02-20. Sponsored by Councilmember Stella Hargrove, co-sponsor blank. Resolution authorizing the mayor and council to restore and make improvements to the Fairmont Heights World War II Veterans Memorial Monument and Memorial Park. Whereas the World War II Veterans Monument was erected in 1946 to honor Fairmont Heights citizens who served in the United States Armed Services, and whereas the Fairmont Heights World War II Monument is listed on the Prince George's County Register of Historic Places 72-009-029 and is included as a contributing site on the National Register of Historic Places, and whereas Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, it reads NNCPPC, holds a perpetual preservation easement on the property, and such easement was recorded February 20th, 2012, and whereas the 73-year-old monument is in need of major upgrades and renovations, including site accessibility for the disabled, a lighting system, public events accessories, and whereas the local chapter of the National Association of Black Veterans, NABV, pledged donations and a letter of support of the grant application, and whereas on June 30th, 2019, the town submitted a grant application for FY 2020 to the Maryland African American Heritage Grant Program, requesting funding to remove and rebuild the existing wall, remove all hard surfaces that are or may be trip safety hazards, replace existing sidewalks in accordance with ADA designs and standards, install 6 benches with backs and armrests that meet the needs of the elderly, handicapped, and disabled, bring electric to the site to uplight the flag pole and walkways, and to incorporate green space and storm water measures to prevent runoff into the Anacostia watershed. And whereas on June 30th, 2019, on behalf of the town of Fairmont Heights, the mayor submitted a letter of support supporting the grant application for funding. And whereas on June 30th, 2019, the National Association of Black Veterans, NABV, submitted a letter of support supporting the grant application for funding and pledged a $3,000 contribution. Whereas the town submitted a bond bill initiative of $150,000 to include renovations and improvements to the Veterans Memorial Park. Now therefore be it resolved, the mayor and council authorizes the restoration and improvements to be made to the World War II Veterans Monument and Memorial Park. Be it further resolved that the extent of such upgrades and improvements is contingent upon the award of grant funding, other donations, and all approvals required by NNCPPC. This resolution is adopted by the Town Council on this blank day of blank year blank. Council of the Town of Fairmont Heights. Billy Thompson Martin, Mayor. Jacqueline Wood Dotson, Council Member and Vice Mayor. Stella Hargrove, Council Member. Jacqueline Morgan, Council Member. Glenn Morris, Council Member. Patricia Ukandu Uwaka, Council Member. Patricia Waiters. So I will note the following corrections. On page 1, there should be an apostrophe in Prince George's. There's missing an apostrophe. On that same line, World War II, it should say monument. It has monuments. It should be MNCPPC where it says NNCPPC. There are other small corrections. Flagpole, take the hyphen out. On the second page, again, NNC should be MNC. Also, the line above Jacqueline Morgan, that line needs to be corrected so that it's uniformed. And then on the back page, it needs to say, where it says Patricia Waiters, it then needs to have council member after it.
It certainly does.
And one other correction where it says NASVET, it should be NABVETS, NAVETS.
NABVETS.
Yes.
Okay, so
First and second
that
page.
is in there twice.
Right, first and second page.
NABVETS.
So is the ETS, are they capital letters or is the ETS lowercase?
Lowercase.
Lowercase?
Yes,
Okay.
it's NAVETS.
Okay. So those corrections are noted on here for Mrs. Tucker. NAVETS. Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Walker. And proceeding with the reading of FHR 02-20, I will accept a motion for approval of this resolution.
I make a motion to approve the FHR 02-20.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that FHR 02-20 be approved with corrections. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Aye.
Councilmember Waiters,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
and Councilmember Ukandu Uwaka.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Resolution FHR 02-20. It will go into effect once the corrections are made. Thank you very much. I'll start signing here and I'll pass it down to the other side.
Hey, Martin, while you all are signing on FHR 02-20, Ms. Tucker, at the beginning of it, I think I wrote down 2019-2020 needs to be put in front of legislative session. Now I'll make that correction on this one as well.
So we can.
Yeah, with correction. Okay, the next
You're gonna have to take
resolution.
that page off and put the next page on, because that page is not going to be valid.
Okay. The next resolution is Resolution FHR 03-20.
2019-2020 legislative session, Resolution number FHR 03-20, introduced by Mayor Lily Thompson Martin. Co-sponsor blank. Date of introduction, January 19, 2020. Resolution authorizing the mayor and council to purchase a multi-purpose truck to be used by the Public Works Department to perform departmental functions such as snow removal, yard waste pickup, bulk trash removal and hauling, and other services as required for overall town operations. Whereas the town last purchased a used dump truck in 2014, and whereas the cost to maintain the truck far exceeds its value, and whereas the snow removal, collection of yard waste, and bulk trash removal is currently outsourced to contractors, and whereas it is the desire of the mayor and council to purchase a medium-duty vehicle classified as medium-duty based on gross vehicle weight rating GVWR, and whereas the medium-duty vehicle does not require drivers with commercial driver's license, CDL, and whereas the GVWR for the medium-duty vehicle must be 10,000 pounds or more. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the town of Fairmont Heights authorizes the purchase of a multi-use vehicle with the following: crew cab, automatic transmission, fueled by gasoline, snowplow capability, with a variety power options, and with the capacity for multi-use. Be it further resolved that the mayor and council purchase a dump truck immediately upon adopting this resolution. Be it further resolved that the purchase shall be in accordance with the town's procurement policies and upon legal review and sufficiency by the town attorney. This resolution is adopted by the council of the town of Fairmont Heights on this blank day of blank 2020. Council of the town of Fairmont Heights, Lily Thompson Martin, Mayor; Jacqueline Wood Dotson, Council Member; Vice Mayor; Stella Hargrove, Council Member; Jacqueline Morgan, Council Member; Glenn Morris, Council Member; Patricia Uckendu Uwaka, Council Member; Patricia Waiters, Council Member; Attest Joanne Tucker, Clerk. Date. I note the following corrections. Weight is let me go to the top. Prior to reading this, we were asked to take out stake body, so I took out stake body on the first line. To purchase a stake body, I did not read that part. The word weight is misspelled under gross vehicle. I also took out to purchase a stake body because, again, we were asked to take out. And this says, be it further resolved that the mayor and council purchase a dump truck immediately. Right. That part needs to come out because that's not what this says up here. That would need to come out. So that whole line will come out. And there were other small corrections for hyphens and commas and what have you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm sorry. So you mentioned that no CDL will be required, but as a question, does the Department of Motor Vehicle determine what vehicles require CDL, or is that open to Fairmont Heights to determine?
The Department of Motor Vehicle decides that.
So with this weight, it's not required by the DMV?
The type of truck that they're looking to purchase, they want to purchase a truck that does not require a CDL license.
And it's an
I
automatic.
thought you mentioned the weight of 10,000 pounds or more or something?
Yes, that was the weight that was listed as a medium weight duty truck.
That's a medium weight.
But as long as it's an automatic, you don't need a seat.
It doesn't have air brakes.
Doesn't
It's
have air
automatic.
brakes, yeah.
Correction, everything that has air brakes, the CDL, but you can have a vehicle that doesn't have air brakes that require you have a CDL.
That's what she said.
Huh? No,
Okay.
Sorry.
maybe I didn't hear it right.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we've heard, were there other questions?
One more, not
Yeah.
really a question, but, when you
purchase this truck, are you gonna put something in there that says there's a manual and somebody has to maintain the vehicle so that it will last longer than from 14 to now?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
how can we know that you're gonna do this?
We just said it.
Because I've seen you buy vehicles, and I've seen somebody say, oh yeah, we've got logs, but nobody has ever been there. You don't have anything in place. I mean, I won't say you don't have it. I'm saying I haven't seen anything in place to say, you know, people are maintaining these vehicles like they're supposed to.
Yeah, and you are so very right. In a situation like that, we hope to move beyond that, because even though it said on the paperwork that these trucks were like, well, this particular one that was referenced, the years, each one of those trucks that are out there, I mean, that equipment is very old. And when the 2014 came up, those evidently, that was when it was purchased, already had hundreds of miles on it. So right there on that part of it, I understand that. And the care and maintenance of it is our number one priority. Because if we don't do that, then we're really just defeating our whole purpose. So that has to be mandatory, because that whole back of, you know, the trucks where with salt, especially with salt, one of our main items, if you don't clean that salt out very well, it eats up your vehicles. So that's one of our main concerns. It has to be mandatory that it's very well maintained and serviced. It has to be. Now, yes ma'am. It has to happen. Yes ma'am.
Where you have to sign to say I did or I didn't.
How soon will we get a new truck?
The new truck is, right now, the dealerships, we have a committee that's going to be working and going back, been out looking, so it should only be, hopefully, if it's approved through the financing company or whichever way we go, that it'll be within the next couple of weeks.
We hope so, because we've been looking for a new truck for the last,
Oh, no, that's right.
you know.
This is it. You're right. This is it. This is it right here. Okay, so don't be surprised you're going to see it driving right on up 58.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I hope soon, it says soon first.
No, soon and very soon. It is. It really is. That's a fact. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yeah. Okay, so I'm happy for that. So are there any other questions? Okay, so at this time, I will accept the motion for approval of resolution FHR 03-20 with corrections.
I make a motion that FHR 03-20 be accepted with corrections.
It's been properly moved and seconded that FHR 03-20 be approved with corrections. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Dodson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Aye.
Councilmember Waiters,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
and Councilmember Akinwumi.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Is there any opposition? Thank you. We'll move forward. I will sign here and I'll pass it down to everyone else. And as we prepare, we'll be going to our last resolution, which is FHR 04. Oh, we have one
We have
more.
two more.
Oh, boy. Ooh, I was trying to.
2019, 2020.
Okay. All right. I was trying-
2019, 2020
All right,
legislative
well, we have
session.
two more. We're moving in that direction.
FHR, resolution number FHR 04-20, introduced by Lily Thompson Martin, co-sponsored by blank. Date of introduction, January 14, 2020. A resolution adopting public art designs to bring unique public art to the Metro Standard bus shelters for the purpose of neighborhood enhancement and civic pride.
Whereas the Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council, PGAHC, in 2019 was awarded a $150,000 capital grant to bring unique public art design to the standard bus shelters for selected pilot locations. And whereas the program was sponsored by Maryland State Delegate Eric Barron, and whereas the town of Fairmont Heights was selected as a pilot location for the PGAHC grant, and whereas the PGAHC has allocated $25,000 for each pilot location, and whereas the total funding for each pilot location is $30,000, whereas the PGAHC is requesting a cash match of $5,000 from all participating pilot locations, and whereas Fairmont Heights is selected as a pilot location, and whereas the mayor and council presented PGAHC with 3 design choices, now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council confirms and approves a grant match for Standard Arts Bus Shelter Opportunity Program. Be it further resolved that the mayor and council confirms and approve the required match grant of $5,000 to be submitted to PGAHC upon the town receiving official notification of grant award. The resolution is adopted by the council of the town of Fairmont Heights on this blank day of blank 2020. Council of the town of Fairmont Heights, Lily Thompson Martin, Mayor; Jacqueline Wood Dotson, Council Member, Vice Mayor; Stella Hargrove, Council Member; Jacqueline Morgan, Council Member; Glenn Morris, Council Member; Patricia Waiters, Council Member; Patricia Ukandu Uwaka, Council Member, attest; Joanne Tucker, Town Clerk, date.
All right. Thank you so very much, Ms. Walker. We're going to, since we've heard the reading of Resolution FHR 04-20, at this present time, I will accept a motion for approval of that resolution.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the reading of FHR 04-20 as read.
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that Resolution FHR 04-20 be approved. Are there any questions on the motion?
Right here.
Okay.
Just one. I noticed, Madam Mayor, on each one of the resolutions, and I missed this before, it says council of the town of Fairmont Heights, should it not say mayor and council?
Okay.
That's on,
Yes.
I've seen it on at least 2 or 3 resolutions.
Okay.
Bring that up because if it's just council, your name will not be a part of the decision.
Yes. Okay. So what we can do is do the correction on that as we move forward with the official. So.
Right here.
All right, so that one correction, Mrs. Chucker, did you get that one? At the bottom where it just says council at the bottom.
So it's
instead
on
of mayor and council.
It's on the signature sheets.
Yes. On the
where it
signature
says
sheet.
council. So you guys will have to sign these again because each time it says council, it should say mayor and council. Okay. So you all will have to re-sign these.
At the bottom.
It's
at the top of
the
this?
signature
Okay.
page. Right. So you guys
Yeah.
will have to re-sign all of these.
Okay. All right. Okay, so with that correction. All right.
Don't sign.
Are there any other questions or comments? All right. Well then, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson, Councilmember Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Aye.
Councilmember Waiters,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris, and Councilmember Ukandu.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Any opposition? All right, I'll start signing and we'll move on to our last resolution of the night. And thank you all very much for your patience. It's been long, but it's been very important that we get these done and put in the record. Keep us moving along in a smooth transition process.
2019-2020 legislative session, resolution number FHR05-20, sponsored by Councilmember Stella Hargrove, co-sponsored by blank, date of introduction, January 14, 2020. A resolution adopting the Town of Fairmont Heights logo that represents and that honors the rich history of the Town of Fairmont Heights, Maryland. Whereas in the late 19th century, the area that would become Fairmont Heights was several small farms, and whereas the town became an incorporated town in 1935, and whereas the many symbols incorporated in the logo design represents each phase of the history of the town's development, and whereas the farmland symbol represents the 6 original farms, and whereas the symbol of broken chains represents opportunity for African Americans to own property and opportunity for self-determination, and whereas the tree of life represents the branches of family history and new growth, and whereas the Maryland state flag represents Fairmont Heights as a municipality within the state, and whereas the Prince George's County seal represents Fairmont Heights as a municipality within Prince George's County, Maryland, and be it further resolved that the first settlers of Fairmont Heights were Prince George's County proud, and that the Fairmont Heights citizens of today remain Prince George's proud. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of Fairmont Heights adopt this logo representing all the town's history from yesterday to today. This resolution is adopted by the mayor and council on this blank day of blank year. Council of the Town of Fairmont Heights, Lily Thompson Martin, Mayor. Jacqueline Wood Dotson, Council Member Vice Mayor. Stella Hargrove, Council Member. Jacqueline Morgan, Council Member. Glenn Morris, Council Member. Patricia Uwaka, Council Member. Patricia Waiters, Council Member. Attest, Joanne Tucker, Town Clerk. Date. I note the correction as noted by Councilmember Waiters. The back page should say Mayor and Council of the Town of Fairmont Heights.
All right. Thank you very much. At this time, Councilmember Hargrove, would you like to make sure that everyone has received their copies and sort of make some comments on this before we move forward? We'll get our motion out there, and so do the people. I think most people, you gave a copy to everyone.
The copy that you have in your in front of you and in your seat, this was approved back in July. In July, it was approved in July. This is the final copy of the town logo. This is the new logo. It went through 3 phases, and at each phase we came before the town and showed you, because remember the first one was kind of something that I designed. It had these images in it, but it had a burgundy background. So we got this, we sent that idea over to a professional who came up with this logo. It was accepted, some corrections were made. So you've seen this before. This is also the ones who are on the 85th Anniversary Committee. They've seen this logo, and I also put out the logo for the 85th anniversary, so you could have that logo also. So this logo, or these 2 logos, are going to be on all of the anniversary paperwork. And as soon as we adopt it, we talked about even having this logo as you enter the town of Fairmont Heights from both directions. And removing our seal from our flag and putting our logo up there. So now we do have a town logo. I hope you guys love it. And again, this is going to be, do you? Somebody
so
said
what
no?
Had happened,
okay.
No, sorry.
What?
Everybody's eyes went over there. So what had happened is that artifact from the old building. It's always, everybody's eyes went over there.
Yeah.
It's an artifact.
Okay.
So we're also going to put these on our plates and memorabilia for the anniversary, so you can purchase it. We're working on a calendar, and I know I'm going off a little bit. We're working on a calendar for our historic town also that will be coming soon. So I'm going to leave the rest for the report. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
I'd like to add something to that effort. Councilmember. Per prior request of Ms. capers over there with this effort, would you include a stamp for the town of Fairmont Heights?
Yeah. We could
That was
probably
her
have one,
request from-
we could have one designed.
A couple of years ago.
We could have a stamp design.
You're quiet.
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Brooks.
Now, I know I'm not a member of Fairmont Heights, but as a graphic professional, if you try to make a patch, it's a little too detailed. So if you try to make a patch out of it, it might not come out the way you want it.
You're talking, I see what you're saying. I see that you're talking about the chains and
That, yeah, it's a little.
the chains and the
tree,
roots in the tree.
intricate.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's about it. And it's a little too ornamental. You know, the sash at the bottom.
That was an issue that we did talk about, the sash, but with the other ones, that's the one that we came with. And that's because, like you said, it would cost more. He's talking about this ribbon at the bottom. And that was one thing that we talked about, but when we changed the ribbon, they didn't, it wasn't agreed on, so we went back to this ribbon. So, and what he's talking about is it would cost more to have this part right here done because it's outside of the line. It's not inside right, it's not inside, it's on the outside. So that was something, and we decided to keep this one because everyone liked this one better. So you're absolutely right.
And when you say it was approved, I mean, was it voted on? Or
Yes, it was. This is, the logo had been going on for 2 years. Once everything changed, and then we went out from the new election, I started working on it right away. So if you want to say it started in May, and if you go back through the minutes, and I don't know if we were video recording back then, but if you go back, you'll see the changes in the process that it went through. So yeah, it was.
Because I've always been coming to the meeting since like June, and this is the first time I've seen the movement. So that's
How many? It's been out there a couple of times.
I mean, when you say
Even in the work
meeting,
session, even in the work sessions, and even in the town hall meetings.
Okay, I noticed that there was one comment. Councilmember,
Well, I
did you
have
have?
a question. This would be considered our new seal.
No, not seal, logo. It's different from, the logo and the seal are different. The seal is that, right there, 1935. That's
Yeah.
the seal. This is the logo.
Okay. So, all right. That's what, you've heard the reading of this resolution that FHR -05-20. At this time, is it possible I could receive a motion for approval of this resolution?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number FHR 05-20 at, I'm sorry, did you?
We gotta finish.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Deer in the headlights. Do I continue?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Inside joke.
Let me get you. Again, I'd like to accept resolution number FHR 05-20 as read with correction in reference to signature page, mayor and council, town of Fairmont Heights.
Second.
Okay. All right, it's been properly moved and seconded that we approve resolution FHR 05-20 with corrections for the signature page. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson, Councilmember Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Harbaugh,
Aye.
Councilmember Waiters, Councilmember Morris. Councilmember Usleton Dewey.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. The ayes have it. Any opposition? Well, we heard one opposing member, but still, we have the approval for FHR 05-20. Thank you all very much. It's been long and tedious, but it's been well worth it. And thank you so very much, Ms. Walker. Thank you to Ms. Tucker. Thank you to everyone who came forward with collaboration and all the information for the reports, because that's very important to us as we go forward into these meetings. I'm not going to take a lot of time, but I have some items that I really need to talk about for the mayor's report. So all of these, once these signatures are finalized on that, I want to make sure it goes to both. Did I send you the last one down? Okay, this is the one. Okay. I didn't even sign it yet. Once we get this down, and everybody does this, we can move on. Okay. All right. First of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that came in the mail today, and it's the Boundary Validation Program. This is related to the census. Now, this is very important. Basically, Councilmember Dotson and Councilmember Morgan have been sort of working together, going to the meetings, but I received a letter today that I will have to sign to make sure that the boundaries and all of this is a final opportunity to ensure that the Census Bureau has the correct legal boundary, the name, and the status for this government. So this is due back on March 1st. I'll be filling the paperwork out. It's a big envelope. Be filling it out and sending it back into the Census Bureau. So as part of our work on the census, this is going to be part of it to make sure that they have a fair accounting of the town of Fairmount Heights. So I wanted to make a note of that. And
I'm sorry, Mayor, what date did you say it was due?
It's due back March 1st.
Okay, so that would be enough time for us to go over it in our work session with you?
No, you don't have to go over this with me. It says your highest government official in the building.
Got it.
So I'll send it back in. Okay, all it does is just, it'll verify our address, our telephone number, all things like that. I can't, okay, it's good. I just wanted everyone to know about that because it just came today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Habitat House on Joss Street, right near Eastern Avenue. They'll be having a grand opening on the 17th, which is this coming Friday. Yeah, this coming Friday from 10 to 12. Okay, now I don't think this is going to be open to just everyone, but they just want us to know that I put a copy in everybody's box saying that, if you want to join them there between 10 and 12 or on Saturday, the mayor and the council invited. Okay? All right. I wanted to say a little bit about Sterling Fluff Parker. I think a lot of the people here know him as being one of our longest town residents that lived right here at Jefferson Heights Drive. Their family had a family store called Helen Parker Store. And one thing about it, they will always go down in history because they were the corner gathering place, even though they were in the middle of the block, but everybody flocked to Helen Parker Store. It was a carry-out. People went there for wings. They went there for conversations about the game, about anything, because Miss Helen Parker was in there initiating it as well as everybody else. And I said the only person that was in there that wasn't hardly making a sound was Mr. Parker, Mr. Joseph Parker. He was in there just taking it in, but he was a wise man because he sat and everybody was just having every kind of debate you could think of. But they will go down in Fairmount Heights history as being one of our strongholds for the community. So his services will be this Friday at the Church of the Incarnation, starting at 10, and his service will start at 11. Okay, so I want everyone
Madam
to
Mayor,
know.
are you giving them a
Proclamation.
Yes.
Yes.
And where was the store at? Where was the store at?
Right there on Jefferson Heights Drive, across from Marcella. right in the middle of the block.
It used to be RH Street.
Uh-huh, that's right. Sure did, sure did. Yeah, so we'll always remember the time in the community. On the 15th of March, I'm in the process of planning the Women's History and Combination Black History program. You know, normally every year I try to do something that's going to document us for being, for our African American status in the state of Maryland and in Prince George's County. So as a combination type of event, on the 15th of March, I'll be organizing that event along with special speakers, Fairmont Heights High School. You know, we always have liturgical dancers and the music, and it should be very interesting. It will be happening at 3 o'clock on the 15th of March. So you'll see much more information about that. The University of Maryland collaboration that I talked about earlier, that I really want to get as many people involved as have a desire to go on that tour on February the 1st, because it's going to be of a great benefit, because they're talking about all these jobs that are going to be available for kids, for young people who pursue agricultural careers, and they're willing and right there to give that training. They say they don't have enough people to apply for that particular field, so consider it if you want to go, and you know, if you want to bring your son, your daughter, or your grandchild, let me know in time so that I can notify the school, because I'll be working in collaboration with them, and this will also benefit the Green Team. So I think that's some of the main things. I'm not going to talk about a lot of the other things I have listed here because we have gone so long on our resolutions. And I'm going to move on down. I'm going to start at the other end here. Councilmember Hargrove, would you like to make a brief?
I'm just going to give a brief update. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights for the same reason, because we have been doing a lot of reading of resolutions and things. The Veterans Memorial Enhancement and Revitalization Plan for the Memorial Fund has been submitted for the bond initiative of $150,000. It has been submitted to Delegate Barron. And it will be, there is going to be more questions and things and paperwork that we have to fill out that we'll be working closely with QED with, answering those questions. A date that I want you guys to keep in mind is when, and if you could mark your calendars, the bond hearing is going to be the first Saturday in March, which is March 7th, 2020. It shouldn't take that long, but you know, I would like the council and the mayor and everyone to be there for support and to show that we do support the Veterans Memorial. There is going to be, like I said, in working with the county council, the county, oh God, I can't think of her name right now, but anyway, working with Delegate, Dr. Dooler, on the Veterans Committee under Angela Alsobrooks. There's going to be a Black History Month for veterans, where we're going to honor veterans. There's some veterans here in our community that will be honored. I'll give you more details and the dates, because I did not write it down in my calendar, the date that we're going to be doing this. And those are the important dates that I think needs to be mentioned. And again, I will be bringing up the bond initiative hearing again in March, and I will also let you guys know when in February, I'm thinking it was the third Saturday in February, that we were going to do the veterans, honor the veterans of Prince George's County, and some of those veterans were going to be from here, the town of Fairmont Heights, and I would like you guys to come out and support those veterans, both alive and veterans who have passed on. Thank you. That's my report.
All right. Thank you very much. Councilmember Waiters.
I also am going to keep mine short, just mention a few things. I'll make mention of community engagement. I'm sorry, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'll make mention of the community engagement. We had an event Okay, I'm sorry. We had an event in July, community engagements at the library, and we were supposed to have several sessions, but again, Mayor Martin has mentioned we've been busy with a few things, and so we're going to resume community engagement listening sessions. I spoke with, during the Feed the Homeless event, I spoke with Dr. Valerie Thomas, who is a scientist, and she's always looking for, she runs a program for youth for aviation, and so she's looking for youth to participate in a program where they will be taught, they will be given flight lessons, and so that's an announcement that I'll make. We'll be looking to identify youth. Along with that, I'm going to drop down to the bottom of my notes where, Ms. Fumi, I think you mentioned that we had put in for summer youth employment. I do want to mention that right now there are several agencies that are having job readiness programs for the Summer Youth Employment Program. So wanted to make mention of that. The age is as young as 14. So wanted to make sure that everybody knew about that. Maybe 3 years ago, the municipal center was transitioned into an art space. And so during the month, it was done during the month of April, I believe, Ms. Right. So during the month of April, it was transitioned to an art space. This room here throughout the hallway downstairs was interactive. So I'm looking forward to doing that in the month of April. I don't have an exact date for it just yet. And then the bicycle rodeo a couple of years ago as well took place in the month of June. Been asked about that a lot, and so we're going to move forward with that. The bicycle rodeo is a safety effort to teach the youth before they get out of school how to ride safely in the community or elsewhere. And annexation. I've spoken to Mrs. Oh gosh, I can't think of her name. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Yes. Ms. Goodall, I've spoken to her about annexation, and there's requirements that we have to meet to even start investigating the opportunities. One is to hire a surveyor. That's a budgetary expense, and so it has to be discussed with the mayor and council and approved, probably a resolution, and so that's just about all I can share with that right now, and that concludes this portion of my report.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Akindu.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot social media. We have a Twitter page. We have an Instagram page, and I know we have two. You have an anniversary page as well? Okay, so I'm making mention of that because we don't really utilize social media, but we do have those 3 anniversary. We have 2 actually Town of Fairmont Heights pages that we need to start posting on to get people engaged as well as get them informed.
Okay.
Yes.
So what method do you want us to actually contact the person? Who's going to put the information on? You going to? Or what?
You got the Councilman Wade has the authorization for the Town of Fairmont Heights, and I'll have the one for the 85th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
People having to go to multiple pages, like the main town
Yeah.
Heights page, you're gonna have like links on there to the other pages.
Yeah. 'Cause there's a historic one too as well. The pages I want to put emphasis on, the pages we would rather not post negatives and responses. I think it's an information. They're all, even though there's multiples, it's an information mechanism to respond to or to give out information, not to bash, like,
No,
people.
I mean the main Fairmont Heights webpage.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go there for posting
Mm-hmm.
or to post the dates of events that you all mentioned here. I mean, like, for example, they have the town meeting, listed on there. I mean, so these events that you all are mentioning, instead of, having to go to the main page for one thing and then go to the Instagram or Twitter, for something else, maybe you can have links to the Twitter
Right.
page on the main page.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having to navigate 3-4 pages just to get all the information.
Yes, ma'am.
To have it consolidated.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yes, thank
Councilmember
you.
Akindu Uwaka.
Well, yes, go ahead.
Good evening again, everyone. The chief and I have had some brief conversations in reference to, again, as I stated last meeting, in reference to putting together some packages for recruiting out of the academy police officers. Mrs. Walker has made us aware of what some of the benefits are, and we're going to see how we can work them into a package for this upcoming graduating class. I've also been asked to participate in the 85th anniversary, where I have come up with some fundraising ideas, which is going to take all of us to participate in. As I presented to the mayor and council during the work session, I'm introducing a kid-free errand day. This is going to do with the cooperation of some of the council members, and I have recruited certified teachers, but I will be having them fingerprint and backgrounds done by the chief, whereas that for a short period of time and for a fee, if you don't feel like taking your kids to the grocery store or to do laundry or whatever with you, you can bring them here and leave them with us for a couple of hours. We'll provide them with games and things of that nature. And we're going to try and do that the third Saturday of each month. We're also going to present game night, which would include Pekino, Bingo, Monopoly, and various card games. And we're going to try and do that on the last Saturday of each month. We're going to present a date night, which would be the last Friday of each night, which they will all, let's see, hold on, I'm sorry. The entry fee for the game night will be $5. The child care will be $7 per child, and a late fee of $1. And these are all fundraisers. The date night would be $10. And again, that's going to be on the last Friday of each month. And to be determined would be our pop-up shop. And what I actually have in mind of doing is to turning the building into sort of a mall-like atmosphere, whereas that we will have vendors in the upper and the lower levels, whereas that I'm trying to, I think we might do it sometime in April, but I need to probably coincide with Mayor Waiters as to what day in April she wants to hold her art. Yeah.
Okay.
And that would conclude my report.
Actually, it would be a combined.
All right, thank you very much, Councilmember. Councilmember Wood-Dotson.
Good evening. First, I'd like to inform everyone that Senator Benson will be having her annual meeting the 27th of this month in St. Margaret's. As well, we'll have a service which is available in the community or for whoever's in need, excuse me, for energy assistance, which is on Thursday, tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Forestville Center, Old Marlboro Pike. I'm basically working with the census, and we're to understand that it is very important to get to everyone to know that the count doesn't just affect us monetarily, but it affects us with boundaries as far as the state legislative committee to understand what will be delegated to us in as far as Medicare, student loans, school districts, Head Start, food assistance programs. So we applied for the grant, and once the grant comes, we'll be able to print literature to go out into the community. But in the meantime, I'm expecting within the end of this, maybe Friday, no later than next week, to go pick up more literature that we can pass out and probably put more on our network that can visibly be seen. I'm also going to be working with health community outreach worker and with things that are projected to do something to make more awareness in our community and to the people that we're predominantly in a food desert as well as a place where the statistics are very high for HIV. So to get as many that we can get to come out and voluntarily want to be tested or educate people to know. A lot of people are afraid of just the word, but you're around it every day. No one has a light bulb to really deflect what it is, but being educated more about it would give you more compassion to help your fellow man. And that's my report.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councilmember Morgan.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Fairmont Heights Lodge is in our community on Addison Road. They are having a paint and sip on February the 15th at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. That's $30 per person. And which is a fundraiser for them. Then they're having another fundraiser February the 29th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. $20 for a prayer brunch. And just wanted to let everybody know that our trash truck is back on the road as of Tuesday the 14th. So our first pickup was on Tuesday, and Friday will be our second pickup. We will no longer be using Greyhound for picking up our trash. So that's a plus.
Okay.
And we will get to, I think people have been complaining about bulk, so we'll still get those special days throughout the year for our bulk pickup. And that concludes my report. Oh, and we did hire 2 laborers. So that includes my report.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Morris.
Good evening. So I've been working with Stella, Councilmember Hargrove, on the 85th anniversary, putting together possible sponsors for the event. I have quite a contact list that we're going through now to see who will want to sponsor and what they will want to sponsor. Right now, we have one sponsor who's going to donate a bus to take the seniors from this location to the 85th anniversary and bring them back. And I believe there's somebody that said that they would take them from here to their house. So we'll have that available as well. I think it's Mr. Burley who agreed to do that. It was you? Okay. I'm also working on the souvenir journal book. We're starting to put that together to include those sponsorships. And what we came up with this week is we were talking about adding pages where, as some of the pioneers of this community have gone on and passed on, that the surviving members can add a memorial page and tell a little bit of story about, their loved ones in the book. So we'll have a brief history of all the families as they want to, contribute to the book. There'll be information going out in a flyer that we're requesting that anybody that has any pictures that want to be included to submit the pictures. And we'll have the picture submission requirements on those flyers. So as many as you all can give us, and then just pass the word on. We'd like to get as many pictures of the diverse nature of the building of this community as we possibly can. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone for your reports. Thanks for being patient because we've had a long evening. At this time, I will proceed to public participation. If there's anyone who would like to make some comments or give some feedback for the good of the organization, now is your time.
Thank you all. Good evening, everyone. Some of you who don't know
Ms. Capers.
You want to come to the mic, Ms. Davis?
Because we need to help you with me. Who is it? I know my friend has a manager.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for inviting me to the podium. I've come tonight to talk about the Civic Association. You've had a wonderful meeting. I just want to, even though long, it was very productive. So thank you. Give yourselves an applause. Okay. But I'm here tonight to talk about the Civic Association. We're trying to build. I came in to serve as the president just so we could start back. We've started back, so we are concerned. We have lots of concerns that have come to our attention that we want to bring to you. We don't want to bring them tonight because we'd like to end this meeting. But I want to say this. We talked a lot about what we want for our town in the form of police presence, in the form of what our streets look like, and how we would like for our town to look like, and what we can do for rebranding it. And so I'm saying to whoever's here, I would like to invite you to our Civic Association meeting so that you too can have an active part in making the change that's going to come. On the first Monday of February, we will have the Prince George's County Police, DC Police, and Fairmont Heights Police. We're going to talk about the thing that's been on our heart, and that was the 3 murders, the 3 people that were killed here. It's still in our hearts because there are things that we can do to rebrand our community and make it a place where people don't want to just either dump bodies or kill people. We want to do other things. But I want to also say to you, Mr. Barnhart, could you stand? Mr. Barnhart has been with us since the moment we started the Civic Association. Not only is he an active participant, he has great ideas. When we decided to go to the meeting at Wegmans where the police meet, he was right. He took his time and went. He didn't hesitate. In other words, he's the kind of person who I would like to move aside and allow him to take my place. So please, I'm saying, I do know that there are council members who will be at the meeting on February 3rd, but everyone else, I'm inviting you because I'd like for you to see this young man in the person that he really is. And I want you to be there to encourage him, because not only does he need that encouragement, but we want to go in another direction. I'm thinking he will take us there. So Mr. Barnhart, I'm offering you now, because on the 3rd, you will begin to be president of the Civic Association. Thank you all.
So, Ms. Capers, are you
All right.
stepping down to vice?
Thank you.
Are you stepping
All
down
right.
to vice?
No. By the way, we do have a vice. You
Okay.
see, this community has a lot to do. And I have something else that Ms. Sarumi, Doris Sarumi, has promised me she's going to help me with. She made this promise a long time ago. I'm going to resurrect her memory.
All right.
Because I want to see my town different. When I leave this place, I would like to leave a standing memory that will be lasting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Speech.
Oh, my.
I'm a little nervous on the Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting that, really. She been talking about it for a while. I thought she was just playing. But I'm going to take it like this. When someone sees something in you that you don't see sometimes, you got to kind of look at it and say, you know what, I'm capable of doing this. I started participating with the Civics Committee because I seen the need in my neighborhood. I grew up here. I know the area. I see what's needed now today. And if I can help in any kind of way to, help that or try to change some things, I would love to do it. I have kids in this community, and I know what it's going to entail for us, the youth, to come up in a safer environment. We also have some other things that that we talked about, far as in the community, far as the police and things like that. And I'm out on the streets. I'm out there. I ride around. I just look for things just to, just to see what's wrong or see what we can improve in. And Fairmont Heights is in need of it. We are a town that has the character here, and the town is so beautiful that, people just don't see it. But if we work at it, with everyone ideas and everyone putting forth the work, it can change. And I think I could be a help to that. So I thank everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else who has something on their heart they would like to contribute before we accept the motion for adjournment? First of all, I want to thank the people in the second row. I'm not familiar with your names. Would you all like to, would you like to introduce yourselves and give us your addresses also?
Yeah, my name is Robert Palmer. This is my wife, Joyce Palmer. And we actually do not live in Fairmont Heights. We live in the District of Columbia. However, we own the house at 5700 L Street. And a large part of the reason that we're here is that we're very interested in what the plans are going to be for that. I think it's a 4-acre lot that's right next to our house.
Oh, that's okay. 4.4.
Right.
4.4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even though there hasn't been anything on that project mentioned tonight, I think my wife and I still found it very interesting, and we're happy that we came.
I am so happy you came also.
We were actually invited by Chief Watkins.
Oh, great.
He invited us. We were introduced to him. We're working with Lieutenant Ivy.
Okay.
On that house.
On that house.
And,
Yeah, there have been some issues there with illegal activity.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we've heard some of the things that have happened in that little cut right before you go to the 4.4, right?
Right.
You're at the end of the street.
Yeah.
Okay. And one thing in particular about the 4.4, we're going to be having some stakeholders meetings, and you all will definitely be invited. If you will make sure that your information is passed along. If you would pass it to Mr. Rumi right now, that's the town manager sitting there with the black and white on. Make sure that gets, she has your number and your address and everything, your DC address, so that we can make sure that you're invited to those meetings. We're waiting on the final dates from Dr. Green from Morgan State University and the governor's office. They're going to schedule another meeting. They're going to be coming very soon. Now, our calendars are really jammed. We have a lot of things going on in January, February, and, it seems like the year is just steadily moving, but we do what we can. But we definitely want you in on those meetings.
Okay.
It's going to be very important that you come.
We'll be there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So you made a note of that, Mr. Rumi?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. If there is nothing else for the good of the organization, at this time, I will accept the motion for adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. May we adjourn with the mitzvah. If everyone would please stand. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another. Thank you all so very much for coming.